especially with weight loss medications, there's a very typical sort of news cycle that goes with the release and use of these new medications, which is always starts off and it's like, oh, it's the miracle drug, right? And then a lot of medications, whether that's 6 months, a year later, usually there's a backlash of like, actually, there's all of these horror stories. It was a lie. There's a really pertinent side effect that we were not really made aware of, or that was underplayed.
I found it almost comical to watch the tirzepatide and semaglutide social trend, because you're right, initially it was like all the that's why it became unavailable, is because immediately those who had a lot of money bought it all and were using it. But then it was like nobody wanted to admit it, and then it turned into this thing of shaming, right? Like, oh, how dare, that it was probably not even real people. It might have been the little bots, that the Russians have been using on Facebook or whatever, right?
Just trying to stir the monkeys on computers.
But basically criticizing it, anybody who would dare use this when you're not a diabetic, and you're like, well, it's been FDA approved for weight loss now, so what are you talking about? Anyways, and to be clear, Wegovy is what has been cleared for that, not semaglutide, right? But that's the active peptide. So that's important to those companies, the distinction there. And then it kind of turned into anybody losing weight being like, well, they must be using semaglutide or something, and then they'd be like, no, I would never do that. And then after they lose 100 pounds, they come back and they're like, yeah, I was using it the whole time.
Yeah,
I feel great, and so now it's kind of gone full circle, because I think that it got really popular and maybe overutilized. You start hearing these horror stories, and I think a lot of physicians became very leery of it.
Right.
But then as the data continues to trickle out, it's been interesting. I've had patients sent to me from endocrinology, who can't get the brand name approved, from cardiology, right, to try to help somebody after stents being placed lose weight because it's cardioprotective. I've had bariatrics send patients that they can't get the medicine qualified for, even pediatric patients, right, which is not necessarily ideal, but in extreme cases better, than the other options, or having no options.